sales cures all.
So number one is sales.
Learn how to sell.
Want success? Model the best. So today, let's learn one of the most common rules that successful people follow: master sales.
I'm gonna give you Mark Cuban rule number 1. And whenever you forget this rule, you're already out of business. In every business, sales cures all. Has anybody ever heard of a business that had 0 sales that was successful? Doesn't happen. Yet, a lot of people start their business thinking, I have a great idea. I'm gonna do this. This is amazing. I'm gonna go raise money. I just sold this idea. And then it comes back and it's like, okay, you gotta sell that product, or you gotta sell that service. That's the first and main key to a successful business. When you're getting ready to start, you have to answer that question.
If you're in sales, make 300 cold calls a day. 300 cold calls a day. And for those
300 cold calls a day.
Correct.
Will it still work
Oh,
nowadays?
absolutely.
Yeah?
We got kids doing it right now.
Question.
We even got some lazy Dutch kids doing it right now.
Just pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Make
And
the
I mean,
call.
for a Dutch kid, 24 years old, to make 20 cold calls a day, you'd think it's a big deal. There's nobody teaching sales in this country that I'm aware of that tells you to make 300 cold calls a day. In fact, there's nobody on the planet that I'm aware of that tells you to make 300 cold calls a day. I had a guy just do a $50 million deal. He said, Dan, if you had just told me I was 2,000 cold calls away from my first deal, I would have sent you a check for 20 grand and said thank you, and I wouldn't have come to the castle.
For like an entrepreneur, forget a salesperson, how about just an entrepreneur who's looking to start a business? Well, if you can't sell, if you can't influence, if you can't persuade, good luck trying to get your business off the ground. I'm not talking about just your customers. I'm talking about the bankers, the people with venture capitalists, your vendors, your credit card processor, the people who work for you. How do you get people to work for you excited? How do you get them excited? How do you get them to want to buy into your vision? At the highest level, what sales really is, it's the transference of emotion. And the emotion you're transferring is this emotion of certainty. That someone feels certain, yeah, it's a good thing, it's going to help me, it's going to fill my need. When you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to start a business and you're recruiting people, well, you're selling people on your vision for the future, your vision for this company. And if you can't do that, good luck trying to get great people to work for you. It's nearly impossible, which is why you always see, the people, if they say, oh, he's a visionary. Well, that's true, but typically not only are they visionaries, they also possess the ability to sell the vision to other people, to inspire them, to motivate them. So selling is not just like, people think of selling, oh, well, I'm not a salesman, I don't need to. Well, yes, you do. You need to learn how to influence. How about trying to get your kids to make their bed, or do their homework, or believe in the value of education? How about trying to get a landlord to give you a reduction on your rent, or to extend the lease the way you want? How about trying to negotiate terms? You understand, it cuts to everything. So I always look at this, when I say I cracked the code on influence, what I really did essentially was I was, by working backwards almost, by saying I'm going to start at the end and go to the beginning, saying what has to happen before someone says yes. I was able to take that and put it into this system that took the no-name, talentless guys and turned them into millionaires.
Well, I always say the number one skill of an entrepreneur is the ability to sell or communicate. Number one, because sales equals income. So if your sales are down, your income's down. But it's not just selling your customer, you gotta sell your employees. That's really tough, And then next is selling my investors. So I'm selling investors, I'm selling employees, I'm selling customers, and I'm selling myself. I gotta talk myself into, I don't have the pleasure of being down. Entrepreneurs have gotta be up. Because if you're down, your employees know it, your customers know it, the market knows it. So number one is sales. But when you look at the big picture, there's 3 things an entrepreneur must learn. Number one is PR. And what you're talking about is PR. The other day, Fox News interviewed me to find out if I would endorse my friend Donald Trump for president. You know how much that's worth? They co-branded us. Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, and Trump. That's incredibly priceless. So getting PR is a number one skill. Under that is marketing. And what marketing does is like advertising. They want to set the customer up to get ready to buy. Oh yeah, I saw that Kia ad. I want to buy a Kia. I want to buy some land, I want to buy this. So the customer is now primed to buy. That's marketing's job. Then the last thing is a sale. So if you've done a really good job on PR, then you've done a great job on marketing. The sale is like that. They walk in, they buy. But if you have no PR and you have no marketing, you have to pound, hard close on, well, Mr. Customer, today's changing business environment, you should buy my insurance. And people today hate sales pitches more than ever before. So the number one sales job of a true entrepreneur is to develop your ability to get PR. And I'll say it again, most entrepreneurs are not good at sales. They're horrible at marketing. They have no idea what it is. And they can't get any PR. And so they struggle. And again, sales equals income. So they crash.
Also, if you want to learn how to have more confidence, check out my 254 Confidence series. It's free. The link to join is in the description below.
If you're doing work that you love, you're more likely to follow through. You're more likely to do it because it doesn't feel like work, because you love doing it.
You have to go build self-confidence.
I've always been passionate. Some people thought, it's more OCD than anything else.
So I'm not as hardcore as Robert is about sales and hard selling as a skill that is the most important thing to learn, because that is one way to stand. If you want to be great at sales, it is a fantastic way to build a business, but it's not the only way. There are a lot of shy entrepreneurs, myself included, who have had success, people who you've never heard of because they're shy, and they just found another way to stand. And so again, if sales is your thing, is your forte, or something that you want to focus on and be great at, then go for it, because it's definitely a great way to do it. But again, it's not the only way. When I took over this business, Toronto Dance Salsa, I sat down with Alex, we looked at 10 different ways to grow the business, and I had him pick the 2 that he really wanted to focus on. I gave him one, which is be a thought leader, and then, okay, pick the one that you want to focus on. Is it going to be, one of them was sales, one of them was, okay, let's go and start selling people, let's start making partnerships with different businesses and say, hey, how do we have these alliance things work out where you can promote our classes to your customers and we find some kind of arrangement to make it work out. He focused on something else. He wanted to focus on providing a great customer experience. That's one way to stand. If you provide a fantastic customer experience, they will come back and they will tell their friends. And Alex came from a sales background at a different job. So my initial thinking was, okay, we're gonna have a salesman come in and go out and sell, and it switched to, okay, we're gonna focus on having a great customer experience, because they're gonna tell their friends and they're gonna come back and be repeat buyers. So that's another way to stand. It could be you provide great marketing. It can be you build a team and you allow the people underneath you to bring their skills in. It could be you're doing a thought leader. It could be going through PR. It could be going through influencers. It doesn't have to be the traditional hardcore sales approach. Now, the one thing that all of these things have in common, that if you want to have success as an entrepreneur and be a leader, you're going to have to figure out, is how to connect with people. And if you want to see sales as connecting with people, I'm okay with that. It's just not the typical salesman approach of, I see that person as my next suit, or as, I got to hit my sales quota and I'm going to force them to buy this thing. A lot of times sales is seen through that lens. If you see it as just connecting with people and helping them along their path, the difference for me is really doing the thing that is best for them. Where a lot of times in sales, you're just trying to hit your quota, you're just trying to reach your mark, you're trying to push the customer past their comfort zone so you can meet your sales quota. So it's a very selfish perspective, as opposed to this is actually what's best for them. But if you want to form alliances, if you want to talk to the media, if you want to be a great leader, if you want to be a thought leader, if you want to write great marketing copy, you want to stand out on social media, you have to be able to understand how to connect with people and move them to take action that is in their best interest.
You guys don't like sales because you ain't got any courage. That's why you want to be the vice president of something. That's why you guys want to call it something else, okay? Most of you in the room don't even have sales on your card. You sell real estate for Remax, okay, or Keller, and you don't even have sales on the card. You're in network marketing. You refused. We don't do sales here. What do you do then, okay? What do you do? I mean, I think the company's got a financial statement. You ever read a financial statement? What's the first line on a financial statement? Huh? What's that first line? It's the first line, by the way. Okay? I've seen a bunch of income statements in my life. The first ones are like 2 to maybe max 4 inches long. Big companies, big giant companies, okay? I got 5 companies, they run to one financial statement, and the top line, the sales line, you could call it, I think it's called also what, revenue? Could be called gross revenue, okay? You know people are getting confused now. Okay, they start getting away from this word. Some college guy came in and said, we can't call it sales, man. We got to call it something like at least 2 or 3 words. I mean, I went to Harvard. It's not about how much money you make, folks. Can you use money? Can you use it, okay? Look, these top lines right here are about income. If you hate sales, you hate income.
Selling is something you'll always do the rest of your life. Most people don't like selling. Some people like to kind of make it nicer, and some will use a better word and say communication or this. It's sales. By the way, those that just turn off the video and don't want to watch about what selling has to do, hey, you want to marry that girl you love? You know which one I'm talking about? You need to sell her and her parents and her best friends. That's all selling. You want to get that promotion? Purely selling, baby. And those who get that promotion sell better than you do. That's why it is. They don't sell a car. Their job could be human resource or something, but they learn how to sell themselves as that position more than you. Maybe you ought to learn how to do it. It'll benefit you and make you a lot of money.
Yeah, we do charge a little bit more money, but we do really good work. I mean, we always try to serve our clients. And do you want me to send you an email on that, like to follow up, maybe touch base like three months from now? Is that okay? No. That's not what a closer should sound like. So how do you develop confidence in sales? You see, most salespeople, they believe in this nonsense that if they just think positively, nothing bad would happen to them. That if they go into a sales meeting, they get on a sales call and they are positive and everything will be fine. Well, it's like believing the idea if you are positive and you go into a boxing ring without preparation, you won't get knocked out. It's as stupid as that. You see, when it comes to closing, when it comes to sales, I don't believe in positive thinking. I believe in the positive power of negative preparation. What it means is, I want you to think of that as like a chess game. That when you're going into play a chess game, what differentiates an amateur chess player versus a master chess player is what? The master chess player knows 10 steps ahead. That's what makes that person a master chess player. What you want to do as a closer, as a salesperson, is going into every single situation, every single sales conversation, be well prepared. So you know every single objection that your prospect might have, and you'll know exactly how to handle it. And that's how you get confidence. You see, lack of confidence comes from lack of preparation. What you want to do is you want to practice. You want to practice and role play until you're sick and tired of it. And then guess what? You practice some more.
Selling evil? Well, my favorite definition of selling came from my very dear friend, Dan Sullivan, who is brilliant. And he said that selling is getting someone intellectually engaged in a future result that's good for them and getting them to emotionally commit to take action to achieve that result. So if you just look at that definition, it's profound. Getting someone intellectually engaged in a bigger future that's good for them and getting them to emotionally commit to take action to achieve that result. Well, if you take out the word good for them, then selling could be evil. Okay, meaning Martin Luther King got people intellectually engaged in a future result and got them to commit to take action. Mother Teresa did. John F. Kennedy did. Well, so does every salesperson on the planet. So did Hitler. Hitler got people intellectually and emotionally engaged in a future result that murdered people. Wasn't good in that standpoint. But saying that selling is evil is like saying oxygen is evil. Oxygen is bad. The human body, no organism could survive without oxygen. No business can survive. No country can survive. No economy can survive and be free without sales. Sales is the oxygen that makes all of it work. You eliminate salespeople, you've eliminated the entire sales force. Most people learn what it is they know about cars, about financial instruments, about plumbing, about anything more from salespeople than they do from school. It's the salespeople that are incentivized to actually sell a product or service because they might actually make some money or commission that are out there educating people about it. Think about all of the things we know in our life that we learned about because we went to a store and someone told us about it. I mean, you know, if you go to a department store and someone starts explaining how to use a DVD player, I mean, it's not like you're sitting home watching a documentary on, how a DVD player works. I mean, you learn that stuff from salespeople. So not only are salespeople not evil, salespeople are saviors. Marketers are saviors. They are the carriers of messages all over the world. Every significant thing that has ever happened in mankind came because someone was incentivized to sell it.
How do you manage the indecisive client?
Good question. I broke down as much as I could. You know how there's like the 6 stages of grief? And then like the types of tornadoes. Like I always, when I got into the business, really kind of thought of sales like the 6 stages of selling, like what emotional clients go through. Because they go through their grieving period, like their denial period, their excited period, and you have to walk them through all those steps. And the best salespeople are the ones who can anticipate it, like an ER doctor. Like they know like when this next emotional phase is going to hit, so you can prepare how your conversation is going to lead into that moment, kind of like a psychologist, right? But people who are indecisive are people who are insecure about the decision that they're going to make anyway. Like at the end of the day, a lot of indecisive people we know, they end up making a decision. They're just really self-conscious or insecure about their intelligence or something, and you have to help them get comfortable and figure out how to get there. And a lot of it is just laying out options. So kind of the way I just talked to you about first impressions, and it could have been super boring, but I made it relative by talking about dating in a bar. And then people laugh and they're like, oh, that is kind of the same way. Oh, interesting. Same thing with people who are indecisive. It's figuring out a way to make it relatable to them. And like if you have a client or a boss or somebody, you figure out what they like to do personally. So you track them on social media, let's say, and you figure out that they really like cats, okay? Or they really like golf, or they're really into the Jets, I don't know, something like that. You try to, without telling them that you internet stalk them, you figure out in your conversation with them how to make whatever the situation is you're talking about relatable to something they really like. Like, this is, I understand you want to take your time, but if Sam Darnold had taken his time, in his first game out, might not have won that first game, huh? And then that guy's going to be like, dude, you're a Jets fan? Like, I mean, sure, yeah, now I am. Oh, crazy. Yeah, anyway, the real reason I don't want to do this is because of X, Y, and Z. Because now it's on a personal level, now they're thinking about something they really like, plus you made it relatable, and it's just how you present that information versus that salesperson who just says, can I help you with anything? No. Okay, let me know if you need anything. Great. That's most people.
Now I've got a special bonus clip from Guy Kawasaki on how to focus on sales that I really think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the 3-point landing questions. Time to go from just watching a video to taking action. Here we go. Question number 1. What will you commit to learning this week to improve your salesmanship? Number 2, what makes you or your product or service unique and stand out? And number 3, who can you prepare with before you go off and make your real pitch?
Partnership is a very, very overused word. In many circumstances, the word partnership means lack of sales. Okay, so since you don't have any revenue, you say, but we have very promising partnerships. In other words, it's total bullshit. Most partnerships are total bullshit. There's only one thing that you care about. It's sales. Remember, this is the most important thing I can tell you tonight. Sales fixes everything. Okay? No bullshit partnership, nothing strategic. You're either selling or you're not selling. Partnerships are bullshit. If you want to apply a more sophisticated test to a partnership, when you form a partnership, did you boot Excel and either lower costs or increase sales? That's it. Because if you form a partnership and it doesn't force you to recalculate your financials, it's total bullshit. Okay, that's the test. It is a spreadsheet test for partnerships. Most partnerships, you announce something, two egomaniac CEOs who don't know anything about the business, go to a press conference, you announce this great thing, and then nothing happens. The middles and the bottoms of your organization can't stand each other, nothing happens. Okay, so use the spreadsheet test. Don't form partnership. Instead, focus on sales. Focus on sales. I swear to you that most entrepreneurs use the P word in order to blow smoke because they cannot use the S word, sales. The ideal number of times you use the word partnership in a presentation is 1. Like, just say it once. You have 1 partnership. But if you start spitting it out like it's the key strategic strength for your company, oh my God, you are in deep trouble. Okay, but generally speaking, unless it changes your spreadsheet, partnerships are bullshit.
If you want to learn how to change and improve your mindset, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
Change your mindset.
Change your mindset, change your life.
You can always change how you think about something.